Okay, Collision. I actually had to redo this twice because I wanted to explain what I've learned about Triple H, Vince McMahon, Tony Khan, about what happened on Tuesday. The best option would be to do a Gump report. So I will be doing a Gump report after this. I'm going to tell you what the show was like. And I want to say that there was a lot on the show. I'm not going to tell you the show was bad. It wasn't. And I'm going to cover as much as I can on here. But I'm going to leave things out on purpose because I want to see how they're going to develop. I'll briefly mention them. But when it comes down to it, I'm going to leave my comments. Because I want to see how far they're going to go in this Dynamite. Now, let's go to the TV title match between Samoa Joe and Willie Mack. Willie Mack of Impact Wrestling. Good match. Didn't mind it. I liked it. Seeing a Willie on Collision was not a problem for me. I actually was fine with seeing him there, and I'm hoping they'll show more of him. But it's a big question if they will. I don't remember seeing him on ROH, but I haven't seen ROH in months, so I don't know. He did not win, and I'm not surprised. They're not going to let Samoa Joe job yet. I think they need to move him to the main roster of Dynamite and let him drop the ROH title, at least when they think he's ready. Because I think he should go back in the T-Team title picture or the world title picture, which they are trying to build him back into that. Next, the second match. Let me give it to you like this. Juice Robinson, and how do I feel about this situation that he went up against Christopher Daniels? Let me give it to you like this. We haven't seen Chris on TV for a while. I don't know if his eyes gotten better, because if you don't know, and I'm sure people already do, how can I explain this? Chris's left eye is full of blood. Not to the point where he can't see or he's in danger. But one of the capillaries inside the eye has been bleeding. And it's been bleeding for a while now. And it's just all red. His entire iris is red, but he can see. He said that in Chris Bambleen's podcast. And he's fine, but hopefully one day the capillary will close and the blood will stop. It's not lethal. He's not going to go blind. But I wondered how his eye has been doing. Has it gotten better? Hasn't stopped him from wrestling. He's like 56 years old at this point, or 55. And he still wrestles. But the problem is, the person works in the back. And sometimes works on ROH TV. I do remember being on there a couple of times. So, seeing Juice Robinson beat him didn't really mean a lot. Now, mind you, seeing that Jay White, because Juice is going into the Battle Royal to see if he can get the shot at going against MJF to get his Dynamite Diamond ring, that he was given a ring, put it on, and nails Chris straight to the face, was not a bad thing to do. But I wish it was somebody that had more TV time than a Christopher Daniels. We don't see Chris often. So many people say, well, Chris isn't going to get hurt from this, and you don't want to hurt someone who's prominent. But yeah, but you still need people that you normally see on TV. Christopher Daniels, we don't see often at all. It's very rare for him to be on TV. And I'd rather have seen, like, what? A Satnam Singh, maybe? Maybe a Sanjay Dutt. Someone else that is more prominent who's been seen on TV. Maybe Jay White, something. Not Jay White, but Jay Lethal, my mistake. I'm not saying that you need a feud with them, but something. We need more for a Juice Robinson. And he made it very clear he's coming after him. He's going to get that diamond ring, and then he's going to try and get the title. Eventually. Doesn't mean he will, because Jay White still holds the title, and Jay White is going after him, but he made it very clear. And since he was the one who was doing the quarter thing, and as you already know, he couldn't stand that that's MJF. To compensate for that, we got a video package of MJF going for the, now what was it called again? Stand Up for against Jewish Hate. Which kind of makes a lot of sense because of his character. He is actually a Jewish person. He's Jewish. And due to the fact at this point, because of the Israeli-Hamas war, it kind of goes along with, well, he's Jewish. He may not be Israeli, but he is Jewish, and he is standing up for Jewish rights instead of anti-Semitism. That kind of goes with what's going on with All Elite at this point, and it's okay. There's not anything wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with doing it because they still have it. And he is right. I've known people when I was young. I knew a Jewish family that came directly from Israel. Unfortunately, because of the way my father acted and made me do something that honestly insulted them, and I didn't know it as a child, I lost a really good friend and lost a really good family that I would have been very close to. But when I was around them, they were wonderful people. And I know I'm kind of going off against that, but it makes sense why MJF does that. So in my perspective, I understand it. Now, Dustin said he's going to go through the Battle Royal and he's going to win the Diamond Ring and he's going to go after the title of MJF. Okay. They're trying to build people up so when they go into the Battle Royal, I think it's next week, at least they have some build. At least we know. Would it have been better if it's been more than a few weeks of build and actual matches behind it? Hell yeah. But this is what we got. Now, let's go to Miro. And let's go to CJ's interview. Let's make it clear. CJ. That's CJ. She may not be... you know what I mean. But she's an incredibly beautiful woman that can talk. But let's make it clear. Normally, she usually is a lot more fluid in how she talks. And this is early days for her. So she's a little botchy. I'm not going to lie to you. When she was Lana, when she was on it, and she practiced and kept up with her practice of how she did her promos, she wasn't bad at all. She was actually very good. But here, we're talking about CJ, who has not practiced for a while. And you can hear it in her voice that she has not been studying or is used to doing it since she hasn't done it in so long. So she's a little sloppy. But she made it very clear, I want to bring the best out in people. I want to bring people out to be champions, to get lights and stardom on themselves. That's what she wanted. And guess who came out? Action Andretti said, you said you want to help some people to, instead of being in a corner, they want to be more? I'm your man. I'm one of them. Give me a call. My name is Action Andretti. And she said, oh, good. I got this. Until Miro made it very clear that his woman, his sexy-ass hot woman, has an issue. That once she gets to fame, she loses herself. She becomes a descending monster. Goes like that. And he says, I'm not letting that happen. She will not end up as a madness, going into madness. So you see him with Action Andretti and basically wipes the floor, well, throws him on the floor. And he's going to take out anyone she is trying to promote and be the manager of. So the question is going to be, how long will it be before Powerhouse Hobbs is going to be one of her clients or the client? Because that's what I feel is going to come down to. Hobbs will be the best person. But since Hobbs is now working with Don Callis, does not mean we cannot have Don Callis and a CJ and a Powerhouse Hobbs and a Sammy Guevara along with Kateska all together. She can work with all of them. That's what I think is going to happen. She'll initially meet Don. She'll work with Powerhouse Hobbs and she'll go with Kateska and Sammy Guevara until, well, Ty Mello, if she's already given birth, I don't think she's given birth yet. Sooner or later, Ty will come back, and then Ty and CJ may have a feud because we may get a little bit of Sammy working with CJ, and she's going to get jealous, and then basically we'll have something. That's a possibility. That's what I think. Let's move on. Fletcher versus Boulder from Iron Savages. Let me give it to you like this. Seeing Fletcher with a bigger guy, I'm not going to tell you that was a wise thing to do. But at least they tried to make it look okay. But to be honest, it wasn't that great. He shouldn't have had to deal with a bigger guy. He should have dealt with someone like Gravity or commander or someone his own size so it'll look a little more believable and he can build himself into it. That's what I think should have happened. He shouldn't have had the bigger guy, which unfortunately Tony Khan believes that big guys should put over little guys a lot. And that's one of the major issues AEW has. They don't have proper balance. That big guys put over little guys and little guys put over big guys. Not medium-sized guys, but big guys. I mean, like a Luchasaurus or a Big Bill. It's rare for them to get put over. It's always medium to near large guys. Like a Warlow, who's not the biggest guy there. He's like medium to near large. I'm just like, I wish it didn't have to be that way. But they did that with Fletcher. They let him have a win over Boulder, and then his promo made it very clear in the back that Davis, he loves him and can't wait for him to come back, but this is his chance as a singles competitor, and it's time for him to show what he can do. Okay, not a problem. Now, Keith Lee destroying a Turbo Floyd of the, what was the guys? The Outrunners, I believe? He annihilated him. But we still have him dealing. Why is he still dealing with Taylor and Lee Moriarty? What do we actually gain here? Because they're more doing work on ROH than they are doing, I believe, more on ROH. They are doing here on Dynamite or Rampage. So it's hard to say if this is more towards an ROH thing that's going to be for a payoff on a pay-per-view than it is on a Dynamite or Collision. I don't know. I'm hoping it will mean something. But I want to see, I'm being honest here, I want to see Keith Lee go up against Samoa Joe. If you really want to put over Samoa Joe as a real credible threat, put him against Keith Lee. Let them have a program together. Let them fight one another for the television title. Yes, because this will be Keith Lee. This will be Samoa Joe. Let's make it clear. Samoa Joe's a big-ass guy, but he's not as tall as Keith Lee. Keith towers over him. And I would love to see that, but that's just me. Sky Blue versus a Statlander. Now, she's wearing makeup where she got sprayed in the face by a... This is what I'm thinking. Of course she wasn't going to win because they don't want Statlander to lose that title. And I still say this. Statlander should never got the title the way she did. Yes, I understand that a Jade Cargill was leaving the company, but to be honest, the build sucked. For me personally, it sucked, her build. She wasn't allowed to build back into it. She just got the title within the first day she's back on TV, and that was the most stupidest thing. Even though everyone liked it, I think storyline-wise, it was bad. It makes her feel very hollow. And yes, she managed to beat Sky Blue in a good match. And Sky Blue is acting dark like pretty much a Julia Hart. Does that mean she's going to join the House of Black? That would be interesting. Seeing the House of Black have another woman show up. Because Malachi Black's not back yet. So add an extra person there until the time is done. Until he can return. And then you could have Sky Blue leave afterward. I don't know. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Let's see here. I am not going to comment on what's going on with the Acclaimed. Yes, they're going to have a match next week. But I'm not going to comment on it. And them trying to help Caster, I'm not going to comment. I'm going to wait and see how they're going to develop that. Or they're going to do backstage segments with it. When it comes to Nick Wayne and his interview, I'm not going to talk about that either. I want to see how they're going to develop him with his mother. That's all I'm saying. Finally, let's talk about, before the match, the final match, Mystico versus Rocky Romero. Now here's where it gets interesting. Mystico is holding one of the oldest belts that's in Mexico. From one of the oldest promotions, I believe. Rocky Romero, I don't know why I botched it there. Rocky is currently holding a title from one of the other rival promotions that is just as old. And now they're going to have a match, pound for pound match, I believe, where both of them are going up against each other. Here's a problem. I wish they built up into this and put it on a pay-per-view. Build up Rocky, build up Mystical. Let Mystical come on AEW TV, get some wins under his belt. Let Rocky get some wins and let them face one another. They could have Spanish and put subtitles. I don't care. Yes, it is from probably AAA and another Lucha Libre pretty much promotion, but come on. Don't just give it to us like this. You need to make it more important, particularly that the Sin Cara of WWE, the original one, he's got his chance. Well, pretty much, yeah. Hiroko was the original Sin Cara. Mystico was the one after him. And pretty much, we got Mystico, who never really made really good on WWE TV, but maybe AEW could. It's just me, I don't know. You guys tell me below. And finally, the TNT title, where there was a big smosh at the end, the beatdown and everything. They did a 4-minute overrun, and that's Bryan Danielson versus a Christian Cage. A good match. Good match. Playing into the wrist broken thing of Bryan Danielson. No problem. But let me give it to you like this. It's not about Bryan. It's not about FTR, who also showed up in the beginning when Adam was trying to talk, and then Christian came out with security, and security was trying to protect not a Christian Cage, but a Adam Copeland. And then we get Big Bill, we get the Ricky Starks saying, "You better get out of my face. Who do you think you are?" And then Adam pretty much poons him on the mic, saying, "You're nothing but a Rock wannabe. Why don't you get out of my face, boy?" We got all that culminating into this match. But it wasn't about Bryan. It was a build-up for Christian and Adam. Again, this is another step for the Christian and Adam saga. Maybe that might be the name of it. The Christian and Adam saga is building. Or another Christian Adam saga. I don't know. I'm still thinking about the name. I don't even know what I'm going to call this. But this is what we got. This is about Christian. This is about Adam. Yes, FTR is involved in it because they want the titles back. We got the Blackpool Combat Club being involved a little bit, but not by much. We pretty much, let me give it to you like this. I am so anxious to see how they're going to book Christian and how they're going to book Adam. I am really anxious to see how Adam is going to make this mean something. And Christian, they need this. Let's make it clear. I'm only going to say briefly because I am going to do a Gump report on this. But let's make it clear, after what happened Tuesday and Friday, AEW, along with the tweet, needs more. And with Adam and Christian might be the most strongest feud they're going to have. With the two of the most well-recognized wrestlers that have been in the wrestling industry. This wasn't a bad show. But that's just me. Peace.